Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do a video about my favorite things that I read in 2018. They're in no particular order. I did narrow it down to 10 different series, but it isn't really like a top 10 and it isn't going to be a countdown of any kind. I basically just went through all of the all of the manga I read in 2018 and picked out 10 titles that I felt stood out to me. My criteria for this was I had to have read it for the first time in 2018. Doesn't have to be a 2018 release, but I had to have read it for the first time in 2018. And I had to have read a good chunk of it, whether that be the entire series or as much as is currently available. So there's a couple that there's still a volume or two that needs to be released, but for the most part, I've read almost the entirety of the series in 2018 and enjoyed it enough to put it on this list. So I'm just going to get right into it. First off, I have made a video about this. This is Supply by Mari Okazaki. It's a Tokyo Pop release. I bought this off Right Stuff. There's only 5 volumes, well, 4 volumes, and then the 5th is an omnibus. So 5 volumes worth of content. Unfortunately never finished in English, which is a damn shame because this was probably my favorite thing out of everything I read this year. I have made a video about it. I urge you to go check it out. I'll talk more in depth in that video. But this is basically just a josei series about this woman here who is a working woman. She's in a job a field that she likes, but she feels underappreciated. And it's just kind of her work life taking over and realizing she's not as young as she once was. And she's starting to realize that she's given a lot up for her career, her love life, and everything. So she's trying to branch out again and, socialize and meet new people through people at work, but like just trying to be more sociable and realizing that she has given up everything for her career now. And she'd recently come out of a breakup because of her boyfriend cheating on her. Yeah, it just is really, really, really good. The art, I love it. The story is amazing. It's so realistic. It's just bare bones. Like, this is, I think many people can relate to this scenario and this story and her emotions and her feelings, and yeah, it's just amazing. I really loved it. Next, I've got Tableau numero 20. This is by S.M. This is a yaoi short story collection that I read right at the top of the year. I believe I read it in February for Manga Hoarder's, is it Manga Hoarder's reading challenge for February? Or no, sorry, I think it was Yuri in Real Life, possibly. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, I'm sorry. Anyway, I read it for the February reading challenge, and loved it. I've had this on my shelf for so long. I've had it for years and never read it, and I absolutely loved it. The art is gorgeous. All of the short stories were awesome. I just really, really loved the emotion and the heart in them, and yeah, I just had a blast reading it. It was so well done, and I think I've read it multiple times this year because I just really, really loved it, and I'll definitely read it many times over. Yeah, so I definitely recommend, if you're into yaoi and you've not read this, I would say go and pick it up if you can. Yeah, it was very good. Next, we got a Shonen Ai title, Go For It Nakamura. This is by Hyundai. This is a one-shot school crush, first love, romance kind of thing, about Nakamura, this is just a comedy series, basically about him having a crush on his cute male classmate. And I love it because Nakamura is gay. He admits he's gay. He knows he's gay. He has a crush on a classmate. Classmate doesn't know. and it's just his nervousness and whatever to just talk to this boy and be like kind of be friends with him, because he feels like he has no chance with him romantically or emotionally. He has no idea if he's gay, whatever, but he just has a crush, and anybody can relate to that moment, I think. Or most people can relate to that moment of your first crush, and just being nervous you're looking at them constantly, you're nervous to talk to them, be it gay, straight, bi, whatever, however you identify. I think this is relatable, and that's what I loved about it, is it was so nonchalant about the fact that he was gay, and it just was a first crush kind of story, and it's hilarious. It's very, very funny, and the art is kind of an older style, which I really like, and yeah, I can't wait to see more from Hyundai, because we are getting another release early this year. So yeah, this was great. Next, Mysterious Girlfriend X. This is by Riichi Ueshiba. This is a 6 omnibus. So it's a 12-volume series. These are 2-in-1 omnibuses put out by Vertical. This is the story about this boy here who is kind of infatuated with his, or fascinated by his classmate, and they end up forming a bond through saliva. And so every day after school, she puts her finger in her mouth and then puts it in his mouth, and they have this bond through saliva. And it's a romance. I think it's shonen or seinen, maybe. I just really enjoyed it. I did make a video about this one as well, so I would say go check that out if you want a more in-depth thing, synopsis or whatever, and review. But I really, really loved this. It has the type of relationship that I find entertaining. There was humor, the characters are kind of cool and quirky, and the art is awesome. I love Riichi Ueshiba's art. He just seems really quirky to me, and I really enjoyed reading Mysterious Girlfriend X. Next, we've got Strobe Edge by Ayo Sakisaka. This is a 10-volume shoujo series, which I had been wanting to buy forever and just kept putting it off because I thought it would be, run-of-the-mill, whatever, generic shoujo. I loved this. I believe I've made a video about it already. If I haven't, then I really should, but I'm fairly certain I've made a video about it. This is so well done. If you're looking for shoujo that's a bit different, still has the cute art, still has the fun, quirky, characters, whatever, but you're looking for something just slightly different, something you haven't seen before, go for this one. Because there's something about Ayo Sakisaka and her shoujo stories that really just kind of throw me off guard. I always think I know what's happening, and then I don't. And it's very refreshing. It's very wonderful. The art is adorable. The stories are adorable. The characters are adorable. Everything is great. I love it. Thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I will be reading it again soon, because as soon as I finished, I was craving starting again and reading it over. And we now have Aohara Ride licensed in English, and we've got 2 volumes out. 3rd volume out should be coming out in February or March or something like that. But if you are reading Aohara Ride and you're looking for more Ayo Sakisaka and you have not checked out Strobe Edge, definitely do yourself a favor, pick this up. Next, we've got another shoujo, Hanakimi. I know this is quite an old series. I have the 3-in-1 omnibuses put out by Viz. This is a 23, 24, something in the 20s volume series that I had never read before. Always kind of piqued my interest, but never, pulled the trigger and actually bought it. I found them all on sale. There was a good Viz sale, and I just bought all of them completely unaware of whether or not I would enjoy it. And I thoroughly enjoyed this series. It was so funny. The characters were awesome. The development of the characters was awesome. It has the fun, gender bending, whatever. So there's some gay characters in here, which of course I love. it's just so much fun. It was slow to start. I was really worried that I had wasted all that money, but as soon as I got a couple volumes in, it really picked up, and I binge read the entire thing. So it was really fun. If you like shoujo, and for whatever reason, like me, you've never checked out Hanakimi, I definitely suggest you do. It was so much fun to read. Quite long, so I don't know if I'll reread it anytime soon, but maybe at the end of the year or something, at 2019, I might give it another go, because it's very fun to read. And next, to a title that has nothing to do with shoujo, I Am a Hero. I am up to date with all of the volumes that are currently out, and I do have the next one pre-ordered. This is, if you don't know, a zombie apocalypse manga with a little bit of a twist, because our main character is pretty mentally unhinged. You're kind of seeing the world through his perspective, so it's kind of difficult to tell what's real and what's not, because he's quite unstable. So this series, I'm not going to say that I'm like zombie obsessed or anything, because I'm definitely not. I've read enough zombie series and, watched a few zombie movies here and there to know that this feels different to me. This is something about the tone of it, the atmosphere, and the, now as far as into the series as I am, just the whole thing, where the story's going. I haven't really seen that before, so I just really enjoy it. I like horror. I'm not a zombie fanatic, and I really love this, so you don't have to love zombie stories to be into this, I think. I like psychological horror, and this is definitely psychological horror. And I've really enjoyed reading this series, and I can't wait for it to be finished. It should be 11 omnibus volumes, I believe, because they're 2-in-1s, and I think the series is 22 volumes long in Japan, so that we should have 11 of these, if I remember correctly. And I believe we have 8. Yeah, I think there's 8 out right now. So I've read 8 volumes of it so far. I have the next one pre-ordered, which comes out in March, and I can't wait to read it. This was one that I had pre-ordered every time, months before the volume was coming out, and read it almost immediately when it arrived. So yeah, if you like horror, psychological stuff, definitely check out I Am a Hero. Switching gears again, I've got Aka 13 Territory Inspection Department by Natsume Ono. This is a series I had been waiting for a long time. I did watch the anime when it came out. I think it's a couple years ago now. Really enjoyed it. This is a political drama, but also kind of feels like a slice of life, by Natsume Ono, like I mentioned. I own everything in English that has been released of Natsume Ono's works. Thoroughly enjoy all of them. This one is my favorite. We have 1 volume left, I believe. It's a 6-volume series, I think, if I remember correctly. And we have 1 left coming out in February, which I've had pre-ordered for months. So I read the preceding 5 this year, and then I've got the last one pre-ordered. So not finished yet, but we've got only 1 volume left, and I do know how the story ends, so I know I love it. But yeah, Aka 13 Territory Inspection Department. If you like political dramas, this is a really nice one. It's set in a fictional place that has 13 territories, and this guy here basically has to travel to each of the territories and check up on their government kind of organization in each territory to make sure that they are not breaking the law, that they're not being corrupt, that everything is running smoothly. And there's tension, obviously, between all the territories, and there's some political stuff going on. There's a coup d'etat being talked about, and of course Otis, our main character, is like are presumed to be at the center of this coup. It's just great. I love it. The storytelling and the different, exploring the different territories is so fascinating to me. Definitely love it. Next series is Saturn Apartments. This is a how many volumes is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 7-volume series put out by Hisai Iwaki, if I'm reading that right. This unfortunately is going out of print. I do not own volumes 3 and 4. I had to get them interlibrary loaned to read them, but I do own the rest of them. So hopefully one day I can track down those 2 volumes I'm missing. But Saturn Apartments is a science fiction, slice of life, very slow paced story about this young boy here who is a window cleaner. They live on a ring surrounding Earth, and he cleans people's windows, and it's a dangerous job. It's a laborious job, and he's kind of searching for his father, who used to be a window cleaner but unfortunately passed away on the job. He's kind of, I think, trying to fill his father's shoes while at the same time kind of explore the sights that his father got to see while washing the windows, you know, seeing the universe, seeing the earth from that perspective. Yeah, it's really fascinating, super slow paced, and very quiet. So if that's not your thing, stay away from it, but it was so good. I tried to read this first volume many times and kept getting bored, and then for whatever reason one day something clicked, and I wanted to read the whole series right there, and it was so well done. Really loved it. My final pick is Sunny by Taiyo Matsumoto. This is a 6-volume series, I believe. Yep, 6 volumes. And if you've never read anything by Taiyo Matsumoto, you are missing out. His take on life and his art, everything is so intriguing to me. And this is a story about an orphanage, or kind of like a group home, more of a group home, because a lot of these kids, their parents are alive, but they're just not able to take care of the children, whether it be due to an illness, drug addiction, alcoholism, just plain like, I don't want you anymore kind of situation. But it's basically about these kids in this group home and them kind of, I think it's on the back, yep, and using this old beaten up car that they call Sunny as a means of escaping their reality and kind of going on adventures in this car that doesn't move anymore. And it just follows their day-to-day life. It's a slice of life series. It's heartbreaking, it's imaginative, it's beautiful, and really well done. I've read quite a few things by Taiyo Matsumoto and thoroughly enjoyed all of them. Sunny is probably my favorite of all of them. It was so wonderful, and they're in these beautiful hardcovers by Viz. So that's the last of my favorite things that I read in 2018. Let me know in the comments what your favorite thing you read was, and yeah, thank you for watching. See ya.